Alright, so after we have simplified things down, we should be getting 4y. I think I might have already said that. I don't know. What am I doing here? Well, alright, now we're going to do the partial of f over the partial of y, partial of y. I may have repeated this because I had to break this video up into two pieces, so sorry if I already repeated that. But anyway, we're doing the partial of f over the partial of y, partial of y. So we're going to be taking the derivative of y, and you're probably going, well, which y are we taking the derivative of first here? Alright, we'll get to that here in just a minute. But anyway, we're taking the derivative of y. So we're going to hold x as a coefficient. If it's by itself, we hold it as a constant. But so we hold it as a coefficient. Alright, so the derivative of y here, seems like I may have already repeated this actually, but I'm saying it this, I guess I'm just going to redo this. Take the derivative of y, whatever. Take the derivative of y, you get 2x squared. And taking the derivative of y over here, you bring the 2, bring it out front. 2 times 2 is 4. Rewriting the y, and then rewriting the x. Remember, we subtract 1 from the exponent. Alright, now we're going to take the derivative of y again. So the derivative of 2x squared, now see, this is just a constant here. No y's involved, right? Just a constant, derivative constant, 0. And the derivative of y here is 1, and then we just rewrite 4x. We rewrite the coefficients. Okay, let's move on. Alright, now we're going to be taking the partial of f over the partial of x, partial of y. Now you'll see which one we're actually doing first. Well, it's turning out that we read these from right to left. So we end up taking the derivative of this first, and then this guy second. Okay? And so that's the way we did the previous ones, but because there were two of the same variables, who knows. But anyway, so we're taking the derivative of this guy first. So no matter what this is, you always take the derivative of the one on the far right first. Alright, derivative of y. Okay, so we look at this, and, well, haven't we already taken the derivative of y? Well, we did up there earlier, and that was it right here, but I'll run through it one more time. So the derivative of y is 1, and what are we left with? We're left with 2x squared, so we just write it. Plus, and then take the 2, multiply it by the 2 out here, you get 4, subtract 1 from the exponent, so we get y to the first, and then we just rewrite x because it's coefficient. And then now we're taking the derivative of x. So we look at this, so we're taking the derivative of x. So you take the 2, bring it out front, 2 times 2 is 4, and then rewrite x, subtract 1 from the exponent. Now we're taking the derivative of x here. So our coefficient is just 4y. The derivative of x is 1. What are we left with? 4y. Alright, there it is. Partial of f over the partial of x, partial of y. Now remember, we're going from right to left. Okay, this time we're going to be doing the partial of f over the partial of y, partial of x. So this time we're going to be taking the derivative of x first. So the partial of f over the partial of x, we want to look at that first. So we look at this. Well, derivative of x, we got to take the 2, bring it out front. 2 times 2 is 4. Subtracting 1 from the exponent, you just get y, and then rewrite. Right, rewrite the y. Plus, the derivative of x is 1. What are we left with? 2y squared. So that's the partial of f over the partial of x. Now we have to take the derivative of the partial of y. So the derivative of y is 1, and then we're just left with 4x. Remember, you just rewrite the coefficient. And if we're taking the derivative of y now, the derivative of y here is to bring the 2 out front, and you get 4y. Okay, well, we went through all the possibilities here. Now, if you were just given the partial of f over the partial of x, you'd know how to do it, right? You'd know how to do it. So anyway, but I just went ahead and took two partials and went that far. Even if this was like 3 partials here, just remember, or 4 partials down here, whatever, you read these from right to left. So you take the derivative of this first with respect to x, leaving y as right a constant, and then you take the derivative of this one next, right? This time you're taking the derivative of y, leaving the other variables, however many they're involved. You know, we could have a bunch of different variables up here actually. Anyway, so right to left. And I'm going to be introducing some other notation to replace this that I think is easier to understand, but